What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. Before we get started, hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and don't forget to always put your comments down below and hit that bell button. Let's get into this because this is definitely newsworthy. Because as we've been saying, the JB administration is turning into Ukraine administration. Why, you ask? Well, Zelensky jailed most of his opponents and went after most of his opponents and put them in jail. And why do I say this? It's because the JB administration doing the same thing, guys. They're going after Trump and his allies, his lawyers, his accountants, everybody. So what happened? Tucker Carlson exclusively obtained DOJ unlawful subpoenas that only target Trump allies, reveals demands. This is huge. You don't see anybody else doing this because they don't want to show the hypocrisy and the tyranny of this administration. Tucker Carlson said his team has obtained a copy of the subpoena issued by the Biden administration's Department of Justice last week to many supporters of former President Donald Trump. During his primetime show on Fox News Monday, the popular conservative host described the disturbing information demanded in the subpoena, saying it shocked the conscience of everyone who sees it. What it demands is both unlawful and without precedent in American history, Carlson told the viewers. Carlson said the subpoena demands documents and testimony relating to any claim that the vice president and or the president of the Senate had the authority to reject or choose not to count president's electorals, he reads. But included in this president-breaking sweep of political opponents of the Biden White House would be former White House advisor Bernie Kerik, who was the former police commissioner of New York City, and Boris Epshteyn, who is the current attorney for Donald Trump. Carlson added, according to the Post-Millennial, the fact that this list includes many members of the former president's legal team is highly concerning. At no time in American history has it been okay to grab the personal communications of someone's lawyer because those are privileged, which is right. It's attorney-client privilege. So there's a copy of the subpoena here. The DOJ is now going after former White House officials Stephen Miller, a frequent guest on this show, with the subpoena. Why? Well, it could be because Stephen Miller went on his network and said, if we win these cases in court, then we can direct the alternate state of electors are certified, Carlson explained. The Fox News host summed it up in other words: he didn't call for insurrection, much less violence or a coup. He called for alternate electors to be seated in the court ordered to be seated if the court ordered them to be seated. In other words, he was following the constitutional prescribed process post-election. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He was following the rules, which is true, which is absolutely true. And I'm gonna read a little bit more, but I'm gonna throw in a couple of things here. But they've gone through. They went after Steve Bannon. They went after his lawyer Cohen, which he's a scumbag anyways. They are going after everybody. And actually, I saw yesterday's program, and Tucker had a lady on his. He had a lady on the show, which somebody tipped the FBI that she was at a January 6th protest, and FBI showed up to her door. She wasn't even near DC. She wasn't in DC, and because of a tip, FBI showed up at her door. So a lot of a lot of irregularities are happening, guys. This is not normal. This is not what our republic is about. Okay, if you say something, as long as it's not a threat, direct threat to an individual, you're protected under freedom of speech. You're protected under the First Amendment. Most of us on these shows, on these podcasts, we are just basing our own opinion. My opinion is this is tyranny. This is absolute tyranny. And Tucker said, we're looking like Iran. Absolutely. If you talk against the government, Iranian government will come and grab you. You're not supposed to talk against your government. You're not supposed to question your government. And if you do, you'll be arrested. You'll be thrown in jail with no charges. Most of the people, January 6 people who are arrested, they have no charges against them. They're still in jail. Over a year now. And, you have JB coming out and saying the MAGA Republicans are the terrorists of this country. MAGA Republicans are the terrorists of this country. Did you forget what Antifa and BLM did to this country? Did you forget the burning and the looting? Did you forget all that stuff? And you tell me white supremacy and the MAGA Republicans are the problem? Are you kidding me? I dare you to talk about Antifa. I dare you to talk about BLM, all the looting that they did. But no, that's justified. That is justified because, it was a political agenda and it was against the Republican Party. So that's allowed. So any type of violent activity against the political party, basically against any conservative or Republican, it's allowed because, their actions are justified. But if it's the opposite, they're homegrown terrorists, they are insurrectionists, they are supremacists, white supremacists, they are homophobics, or blah, 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 blah. So if the left and the liberal and the Democrats do this, it's okay because, they're doing it for political reasons. But, if the conservatives, if the right, if the Republicans do it, it is a terrorist act. Interesting. That's very interesting because that's how Taliban gained power, by looting, murdering, and burning. So to compare Taliban way of action by what's happening on the left side, it's very similar. Because Taliban used the same tactic. ISIS used the same tactic. They used violence. They used scare tactics. They murdered people. They killed people. They burned places. They blew up a whole bunch of artifacts. And remember ISIS. ISIS went around and blew up every historic site that they could find. Anything that had any type of history. They blew a bunch of stuff in Iraq that was related to Assyrians, the Chaldeans, any statues like that were in the Mesopotamia era, during Babylon era, which it was the first civilization that came to Earth 6,800 years ago. They went around, they blew all of them up. That's very similar to what BLM and Antifa was doing. Very, very similar. They took out all the statues. They took down statues, defaced a bunch of monuments. They took down a bunch of monuments, and they called it justice. So in comparison, in my opinion, they did exactly what ISIS did. They're both terrorist groups, in my opinion, because that's exactly what they did. They defaced monuments, they threatened people, they killed people. Many people died during the BLM riots and the Antifa riots, but no news about that. Many places got burned down. Many places got looted. Many monuments got blown to smithereens. Not literally, but they were broken into pieces, taken down, or whatnot. ISIS was doing the same thing. So please explain to me, what is the difference between these two groups? And why isn't Biden administration or the Democrats denouncing these actions from 2 years ago? In fact, they are supportive of it. Pelosi came out and said, people do what they do. She is supportive of it. So for this act to come and say, for this administration to go after its political rival, what do you think? What do you think they're searching for? What do you think they're gonna do? What do you think they're gonna do? You're gonna be next. I'm gonna be next, probably. Who knows? Anybody that doesn't agree with the government or with this administration, they're gonna be next. They don't care about you and I. That's all they care about is power. They want to clinch that power. So, leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think. I believe this is in extraordinary times. I have no more hope for this country if this continues. But I tell you what, I don't run. I'm not gonna run. I will not leave this country. I will do what I can to put it back the way it was. We all should. We all have a voice. We all should do it peacefully. We all should try to make sense out of what's happening. You don't have to be a Trump supporter. You don't have to be a Republican. You don't have to be a conservative. You just need to be human to understand what freedom means. And coming from an immigrant, coming from a country who freedom was not the first priority as a Christian, we know what that means. We know what it means for us to sit here, for me specifically, be able to speak to the camera and say what I want to say, what I think, and what my opinion is without going to jail. So people should consider this as some sort of warning, I guess, because if you can't say what you want to say, even though if it hurts people's feelings, even though some people might not agree with it, which is okay. Not everybody's going to agree with what I say, and I don't have to agree with what other people say, even like-minded people. I don't have to agree with everybody. That's not choice anymore. You could disagree, you could have a discussion, but this is getting out of hand. This is going to a different level, guys, and it doesn't look good. Absolutely does not look good. So I'll leave it here, guys. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Peace out.